Okay, the meeting is not being streamed on YouTube as required by statute. Okay, Ms. Alexander, let me call the case. This is cause number P-38332. This is in the estate of Francisca Aviles. I guess if you'll make your announcement, Ms. Alexander, you're the only counsel of record that I can see is going to make an appearance. Please state your name and who you represent.
Yes, Your Honor. Pam Alexander, and I represent the applicant, Ms. Irma Torres, and she is present, Your Honor.
Okay, before I hear evidence to prove up your case, can you tell me what the status of the all the required citations are? Have you served everyone?
Yes, Your Honor. She had a total of 10 siblings, 2 of them predeceased. So the 8 that are living, we had 3 that signed waivers and 5 that were served. So they've all been either served or signed a waiver. Then
who are the 2 children that have deceased?
Miguel Aviles and David Aviles Sr. And they're not on there, but their children have signed waivers. So Miguel,
I remember Miguel Aviles Jr. was served. Is that the only child from Miguel Aviles?
Actually, Miguel Aviles had 4 children and they all signed waivers. Miguel signed a waiver too. So all 4 of Miguel Aviles' children signed waivers. It was the other brother that had deceased. One of his children had to be served, and the other one.
What was the name of the other brother? I was trying to find him in a list, but he's not on a list that I have filed by the respondent. What was the name of the other sibling?
The other brother is David Aviles Sr.
Okay, and he had one.
He had 2 children, and 1 signed a waiver, and 1 was served.
Okay, what are the name of those 2 children?
It was Alicia and David Jr. or David Aviles Jr.
Okay, and the 4 children of Miguel Aviles, I have Miguel Aviles Jr. and who are the other 3?
It's Abigail, Nancy, and Jessica.
Nancy, and what was the last one?
Jessica.
Okay, and those 6 that were descendants or children of deceased children, they were all either served or waived?
Yes, all were waived except David Jr., and he was served.
Okay, so so you'll elicit that testimony from your applicant in terms of having established a record that we have everyone before the court in one way or the other?
Yes, Judge, I'll go ahead and go through that with her as well.
Okay, and so when you filed your affidavit, attorney's affidavit of service, you conclude with a statement at the end saying all individuals entitled to notice have either been provided notice or their whereabouts are unknown and cannot be reasonably ascertained. So from your explanation, there are no heirs or interested persons for whom you can say that the whereabouts are unknown or and cannot be reasonably ascertained. Is that true?
Yes, Judge, I just used like the general form I use, but yes, there's no one
that would fit that category.
Yes.
Okay. Then let me have you call your witness, please.
Yes.
Hi.
Ms. Torres,
Yes.
I don't know if you want to swear her in, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Torres, good afternoon. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, please. Will you swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth? So help you God.
I do.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Torres, please state your name and address for the court.
Irma A. Torres, and it's 416 Miller Avenue, Mission, Texas, 78572.
Okay, ma'am, and you're the applicant seeking to probate the will of Francisca Aviles as a muniment of title, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and Mrs. Aviles was your mother, is that correct?
Yes.
And Mrs. Aviles died on May 18th, 2009 in Mission, Hidalgo County, Texas, when she was 86 years old, is that correct?
Yes.
And it has been over 4 years since your mother passed, is that right?
Yes.
And today we're asking the court not to find you in default because the original will was actually in your brother's possession and he was in California. Is that correct?
Yes,
And he came down to Texas, and when he finally came to Texas, he brought the original will with him. Is that right?
yes,
Okay. And we provided notice to all of the heirs, which are Mrs. Aviles, other children, your siblings, and her grandchildren, some of her grandchildren. Is that correct?
yes,
Now, for the record, I have your siblings. I want you to take, I know there's 10. Is it correct that you had 10 siblings?
yes,
And 2 of them predeceased, which was Miguel Aviles and David Aviles Sr. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, your other siblings are Jose Luis Aviles, Francisco Aviles, Heriberto Aviles. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, so those 3 of your siblings signed waivers. Is that right?
yes,
Okay, and the other 5 siblings that were served, Narciso Aviles,
yes,
Anita Castro,
yes,
Jose Guadalupe Aviles,
yes,
Maria Lopez, and Teofilo Aviles. Is that correct?
yes.
Okay. Now, your brother that predeceased, Miguel Aviles, how many children did he have?
4.
Okay, and was that Abigail, Nancy, Jessica, and Miguel?
Yes, June.
Okay, and we have, yes, Miguel Jr. And we have gotten waivers from all of those children. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay, and Mr. David Aviles Sr., who also predeceased, he had 2 children, which were Alicia and David Jr. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay, and Alicia waived and we had to get David served. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. Now, at the time of your mother's death, was she domiciled and had a fixed place of residence in Hidalgo County, Texas?
yes,
Okay, and to your knowledge, she did leave a will. Is that correct?
yes,
Okay. Your Honor, I don't know. I know that sometimes we can put the will on the screen so she can identify it. Would the court like for me to try to do that?
Yes, I think I've got the setting for you to be able to do it. Do I need to push the share screen or you? able-
It says that the host has disabled it. So if you can enable it, I can try to get it up there.
I'm quite willing to do it. I just don't know that, I thought I had done that. Actually, I have it. No, I don't have it either.
I have it on my desktop, but when it says that it's disabled.
I understood that I would have to enable it, and I'm quite willing to do that. I just don't know how to do it.
Okay. I wish I knew.
Pam, do you have a hard copy of the will?
Yes, I do.
Well, because you can flash the appropriate parts of the will and the signature pages. Yeah, and put it in front of the camera if that's okay with the judge.
Yes, that would work for me.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Colin. Good suggestion. Okay. Mrs. Torres, I'm gonna try to show you this.
I can see it.
Okay. Do you recognize this will as your mother's last will and testament?
Yes,
Okay. And down here at the bottom, I have what's purported to be her signature. Does that appear to be her signature to you?
yes,
Okay. Here on the last page of the will, I also have what's purported to be her signature. Does that appear to be her signature to you?
yes, yes.
And down here at the bottom of the last page as well, is that your mother's signature?
Yes. Yes.
And do you know if this will was ever revoked or amended?
No.
And we did provide the original will to the court, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, did your mother ever have any children born to her or adopted to her after the date of the will?
No.
And your mother was a widow at the time of her death, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have a personal knowledge of her financial affairs, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and is there any necessity for administration of the estate?
No.
And are there any debts due or owing by Mrs. Aviles which are not secured by liens on real property?
No.
Is the state, any agency of the state or any charitable organization named in the will as a devisee?
No.
And now, your brother, Jose Luis Aviles, he was the originally named independent executor and you were first alternate, is that correct?
Yes.
And your brother has been ill for quite some time and he wanted for you to take over, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and Your Honor, we do have a declination to serve on file of her brother, that he provided.
Okay, in light of the fact this is a minimum, you're not asking for the issues of letters testamentary. I mean,
No,
or the
Your
appointment
Honor.
of an executor. There will be no
Right.
executor. There'll just be ordered made in the will to probate.
Yes, Your Honor, I just wanted the court to be aware that since he was the named executor, he knew what was going on and.
Okay, all right. Anything
And-
else?
No, Your Honor, that's everything. We just asked the court to admit the will to probate as a muniment of title.
I do have this will, and I thought I had scanned it and made it part of my process to make it available. But when I went to look for it, I couldn't find it. So I may have confused this case with another one. Just, Mrs. Torres, substantively, it is important because I do have a copy of the will. It seems your mom left everything to you and Jose Luis
Yes.
in equal shares. So,
Yes.
so that's substantively what the will does.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Ms. Alexander?
No, Your Honor, my assistant, I believe, sent an order a couple of days ago, so hopefully that got there.
Yes, I have it and I've reviewed it. It had language waiving the fulfillment affidavit and I was hesitant, but I recall now I guess I'm assuming it's just real estate, a home that's being passed.
Yes,
Is
Your
that
Honor, it's a small home, but.
okay? Okay, so I have the order, I've reviewed it. Ms. Torres, everything seems to be in order. I'm not sure what the delay on this matter was. Once I saw it had been around as long as it had been, I tried to set it as soon as possible.
Thank you.
I find everything to be in order, Ms. Alexander. I'll sign the order and send it into the court for filing. And I'll send you a copy, Ms. Alexander, which you can provide to your client.
Thank you so much, Judge.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you all so
Ana.
much. You have a nice day.
You
Great.
too. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Roland, good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Judge.
Take it
Hope
easy.
we're